Xaverian Brothers High School, a game in which I will go on record as saying is probably the best football game, whether high school, college, or pro, that I've ever seen, as the Boxers came back from 8 turnovers and a 17-point deficit to overtake Xaverian. We'll take a look at the offensive and defensive highlights, and then we'll leave plenty of extra time so you at home can call in and congratulate Armin Colombo. Good evening, everyone. I'm Steve Valley, and this is On the Sidelines. Okay, thanks for staying with us, Armin, and congratulations again. You've been in many Super Bowls. Where does this one stay in your memory?
Well, I told the players after it was all over that this would go down in Brockton football history. As far as importance, it probably is the greatest, because we were 17 points down in the second half to an extremely good football team, talented in the skill positions, used to winning, bent on revenge, trying to play and win the game for the last game for their head coach. All of these this put together with a Super Bowl, it has to rank up there with the very, very best as far as I'm concerned.
Let's talk about rematches in the Super Bowl. Of course, the first Super Bowl, you blew away Newton North 35-6. You come back in the Super Bowl, Peter Colombo, I think you might know him. He kicks a field goal in the third quarter. Last year against St. John's, very tough. Were you weary of the rematch, revenge matchup there?
I would have been wary if I didn't think the players were ready, if I didn't think that the players wanted to beat them as badly as they wanted to beat us. It wasn't one of those situations where we beat them, we got them out of the way, and they're out of our minds. I think the players wanted to play them again. I really do. I think they wanted to show that they were better not only once but twice. And because some of the people mentioned the fact that maybe we shouldn't have won the game, there was a goal line stand and different things like that, which I didn't feel really was an indication of the game. I thought we dominated that game, and as far as I'm concerned, I think being down 17-0 and coming back and winning the game utterly proved that we were the superior team and we deserved to be number one.
Let me ask you, I don't know if this has anything to do with it. Did the experience of Brockton being there last year, does that actually help a team?
I don't know. You know, you've got a lot of new players in the field. In other words, our offensive backfield, for instance, never played in the Super Bowl. A lot of the people up front, and I don't know if it does. I think the fact that some of the guys played have to play an important part in it. But as far as I'm concerned, a big game is a big game, whether it's a Super Bowl or whether it's Thanksgiving or whatever it might be. And we played a lot of big games. I would have to say that for this team, the experience of playing against Erie, Fitchburg, St. John's, Xaverian, and teams of this type, playing on Thanksgiving Day, I think better prepared them for the game last Saturday.
There was a lot of publicity in the game, all Xaverian, and plus to boot, the Ames factor was once again in effect. Larry Ames, how many times did he go against Brockton? I think 5 times, picked Xaverian to win 21-20. I asked you this at the end of the game, but I really didn't get a full answer. Did you play up the publicity at all?
Yeah, we did. We let the guys know. I jokingly said to the players on Friday, maybe we shouldn't even show up. Maybe we shouldn't even go. And I didn't know if we were playing there or not. Maybe I should call someone and ask them if, you know, are we playing St. John? Right. Yeah, and But of course, they realized we were joking in a way, but at the same time, we were trying to get a point across that Brockton is the forgotten part of this football game. And I think that for all practical purposes, we emphasized the point that maybe a lot of people wanted Brockton to be on the short end, but certainly not the Brocktonians that were there. I thought the representation of Brockton was excellent on Saturday. I thought the crowd was great. I thought the appreciation was there, and it couldn't have been a better day.
All right, Armin and I will be back to take a look at the offensive and defensive highlights, but first it's game summary of the Division 1A Super Bowl championship game.
To say the outlook looked bleak for Brockton in Saturday's Division 1A Super Bowl would be the understatement of the year. Although the Boxers moved the ball deep into Xaverian's end of the field several times in the first half, the result was the same on every possession.
Gain of 2 for Bourne, so 2nd and 8 just inside the 10-yard line, and a deep pitch for Bourne. He loses the ball. Xaverian has it. Camella, the recovery, and the team's great.
In all, Brockton had 8 turnovers, 5 fumbles, and 3 interceptions. Usually when the giveaways are that high, it means that you get blown out of the stadium. But Brockton was lucky. Xaverian capitalized on only 3 of the turnovers, 2 in the first half for a 14-0 lead, and a field goal in the third quarter. Xaverian's Mr. Everything, Greg Camella, sparked the Hawks' offense in the first when he hooked up with quarterback Matt Hasselbeck for a 69-yard pass completion. Brendan Kennedy pushed it into the end zone on the very next play for a 7-0 Hawk lead. And to make matters worse, the Boxers coughed up the ball one more time on downs on Xaverian's 6-yard line on this controversial play, with Jason Mosley apparently making enough yardage on 4th down for Brockton. A bad spot off of the fumble gave the ball to Xaverian, and Greg Camella took advantage of the referee's gift.
That would have been Jason Mosley in the Boxers. Camella following his blocks over the left side. Camella! Semper again, the only one who can catch him. Troy Semper gets a straight arm, and Camella goes the distance. So it's a 90.
Xaverian would take advantage of one more Brockton miscue for a third-quarter field goal, and Brockton was down 17-0 with 2 minutes gone in the third quarter. But just as it's done all year long, the Boxers' offense fed off of its defense and started the comeback on their next drive. Captain Lucian Belanger finally put Brockton on the scoreboard with this run up the middle, and with a 2-point conversion, Xaverian's lead was now 9 points, 17-8, with plenty of time to go. This is where Brockton's defense took over, with heavy pressure from Jason Presampieri, who had 2 sacks. Matt Hasselbeck found the going tough by consistently taking a pounding and coughing up the ball. And when Brockton's offense took their turn, it rose to the occasion as Mike Bourne put Brockton on the scoreboard once again.
Long count. Bourne behind Mosley and Belanger, and Bourne into the 5. Touchdown, Michael Bourne! Oh, baby!
Another big play by Presampieri gave the Boxers the ball with 3 minutes left in the game. And with 4th down and just 35 seconds to go, the Hawks leading 17-15. It all came down to sophomore Alan Bursey, attempting his first field goal of the season. With a Super Bowl victory riding on his shoulders, he would either be the hero or the scapegoat.
It is up.
Xaverian had one final chance to win, but Brockton's defense allowed nothing, and the celebrating began.
To claim their 8th Super Bowl victory, their 2nd straight Division 1A championship. Armin Colombo.
We came back. We did everything that we had to do, and whether we got it or not, whether we got the 3 points or not, I was very, very proud of what we did.
Okay, Armin, 14-0 at halftime. You had many turnovers, but you look at the stats. Xaverian has 134 on the ground. Take away Camella's 94-yarder. Brockton had 108 yards. This game was close, actually.
Well, that's what we talked about between the halves, the fact that we moved the ball. They did not stop us. I think we had a punt twice all day, and we stopped ourselves. We had a lot of turnovers, very uncommon to what we had been doing since the first game. We were just almost flawless most of the time, most of the year.
Our first highlight is of turnovers, and it just wasn't Brockton. Xaverian had them too. What happened on Saturday? I mean, that was pretty ugly for a while there.
Right. Well, I think what you got is first of all, I think the weather conditions and the ball, the coldness and so forth, could affect the handling of the ball.
Right here.
Here's an exchange, and this came about as a result of the exchange between center and quarterback, a little bit of a problem there, and I think that's basically what it was all about. Plus, great defensive play on the part of both teams to cause fumbles or interceptions. So as far as I was concerned, a lot of it had to do with the hitting that went on, and a lot of maybe with the cold weather, plus the excitement of the game, etc. But I thought when it really, really counted, when we had to hold on, that we did that.
Do you think the players maybe started thinking, I mean, it happens so often that every time I'm going to touch the ball, it's always in the back of your mind, fumbling?
Well, I think sometimes that is true. You fumble once, you fumble twice, and then there's obviously a little bit of apprehension. And when you're apprehensive, you don't play the way you should. But there's one guy that played the way he should have, and that was Jason Pierre. He had a game of a lifetime in the most important game of his career. And what a way to end up.
Don't jump the gun, because I have some highlights of Samp, and I don't want to jump the gun.
Okay.
Let's get to our next highlight, which was a blown call. Jason Mosley supposedly fumbled. He didn't fumble. He had to get to the 5-yard line for a first down. Did he get there before he fumbled?
Yeah, he did.
What do you think right there?
We were very certain that he had gotten by. He had to get a football length away.
Look where the ball is. That's on the ground right there. That is on the 4-yard line right there.
Yeah, but again, it was a situation where we did fumble the ball. It was 4th down. And I think one thing that we did try to do all year long was just play football. And sometimes you get obsessed with what's being called or what's not being called. And I think we avoided that, and as a result of it, I think that's the reason that we were as successful as we were.
That ultimately turned into a 14-point turnaround.
It did. The long run by.
Did you talk to the official during the game and just
No,
check on that?
what Mike Hancock did say between the halves, he says he definitely had a first down, but there's no sense of even discussing
It's
it.
over.
It's over. We're losing at that particular point. We got to do something about it.
Our final offensive highlight is of the play. Let me first ask you, did you ever think of the fake on the field goal?
Never. No.
I mean, you had Shaheen, Keener, and Mosley in.
I can honestly say.
And here's you watching it. I don't know if you know that we had a camera
I didn't know
on
that.
you.
I really didn't know.
And let me just go on record as saying I've never seen Gene Marrow like this before in my life. Happy guy right there.
Yeah, we should have been. And I think everyone was. I just thought the elation that was shown on the part of everybody at that particular point after the game. And it's a wonderful feeling. And the thing that you like is that, the players' appreciation and the fact that the players got something for working very, very hard. Sometimes you don't. A lot of times you don't. You work very hard and you're not rewarded. But they worked very hard, and they certainly were rewarded with an unbelievable victory.
All right, let's switch to the defense. It was just phenomenal in the second half. They allowed maybe 40 or 50 yards, and this has been the case all season long. They just rose to the occasion.
Right. I don't even think they got 40 or 50 in the second half. Excluding the 2 big plays, one leading to a touchdown, one a touchdown. Other than that, the defense was great. Defense, I think at the beginning of the year, way back in September, we mentioned defense being a strong point of this team, and it never let us down. Never let us down. And I'm just so proud of everybody that played defense, Jason Pierre, all of these guys.
You mentioned him again. Let's go to our only defensive highlight, because this kid had the game of his career. He was just a force, and I'm sure Matt Hasselbeck will be having nightmares of him for the next couple of months.
You'll see number 70 quite a bit in his nightmares.
Especially this next smack towards the end of the game, right here. This was a
great play. Right here. Oh, wow. Look at this coming up.
Ouch!
Bang. 265 head on. And there he goes. He's got a little bit of a dance now. He even developed a little bit of a dance.
Now, along with Sampieri, I think you have to give credit also. The reason why he had time to get in there was for the second game in a row, your defensive secondary
coverage was unbelievable. Other than that one long pass, and I think Troy had him covered. I think he probably underestimated the passer a little bit. Great throw. But other than that, we had them covered all day long.
should have took notes at last week's show. You see, you thought I was wrong. I told you they come out passing, and they
I did take notes, don't you remember?
Didn't work on that play, did it? All right, Armin and I will be back with your phone calls right after this break. Welcome back. The phone number is 588-6988. Brockton, call in. Armin, final game of the year. Let's rate your team's performance.
Well, after giving it a great deal of thought, after realizing that we did have turnovers, and but under the conditions,
Let's rate the second half performance then.
I would have to go along with giving this team, and I'm giving it based upon the whole season, and as well as the last game and everything they did, I'm going to give them a 10.00.
That's not bad. You can't get better than that
No,
on a
you
scale
can't.
of 10. Do we have a phone call ready? Hello, caller.
Hey, Coach Colombo.
Can you turn that up in the control room? We can't hear it. Hello.
Coach Colombo.
Yes.
Hey, how you doing?
Very
Congratulations
good, thank you.
on a great season.
Thank you.
I wanted to have a comment for you. I don't know which was more difficult to watch, Ellen Bercy's field goal or you getting dumped with a bucket of water in that temperature.
Well, I didn't mind that at all, but I never felt it.
No, that was the best feeling in the world when that field goal went through, I'll tell you.
It sure was.
It made Brockton proud. It showed everybody.
Well, I hope it made Brockton proud. I think that's one of our aims. That's one of our goals this year.
Well, I got goosebumps, I'll tell you. I got goosebumps when it went through, and I'll never forget it.
Thank you.
So good luck next year also.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Let's talk about players now. All Scholastics are coming up, and I still say Lucian Belanger should be the Division I Player of the Year. Who are the colleges coming after this
Well,
year?
let me start off with All Scholastics first. All Scholastics is a numbers game. They can only put so many players from each team on any paper, and I appreciate what the papers do for us because regardless of what people might think, all the papers do give us print.
Yeah.
The Globe has been great to us, giving us numbers of All Scholastics. This is the way I feel. There aren't enough positions on the All Scholastics at the papers. Now, as far as I'm concerned, Danny Reardon is an All Scholastic.
Yep.
Jason Presempieri is All Scholastic. Chris Psychos.
There are many of them.
I can go down the line, and I have so many All Scholastics on that team. Contrary to what a lot of people thought, that they didn't think we had this or that. We had a lot of good people.
Let's get to the phones
Sure.
again. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good.
Good. First of all, let me say, I'm a former player at Brockton High. Without a doubt, the greatest win in the history of Brockton High. Without a doubt.
I appreciate
Second point
that.
I want to bring up. A lot of players have played there. I know they say kids have changed from the early 70s to the mid-80s to the early 90s. The city's changed. A lot of things have changed. But one thing that always stays the same, and one thing you seem to do, Coach Colombo, is when it comes to bringing a football team together, the kids in 1985 are the same as the kids from 1972, are the same kids from 1992. They all come out, they all kind of get together and become like a family, and it really shows on game day, and it shows during the season. And I was just going by the practice field the other day, and I was looking around, and I was kind of thinking about all the different teams that have played there. One thing, they all take on that Colombo feeling of like a family. And this team was no different than the team from 72 or 85. It was a beautiful team, and this team, you should really be proud of the coaching job you did, because without a doubt, it's the best coaching job you've done too, by the way. But I just wanted to bring up those points.
Peter.
I think you're exactly right. I agree with you, and people have asked me, have the players changed, have the guys changed? No, they have not. As far as I'm concerned, you're exactly right. The players of 92, 72, 82, 85, you name it, they are the same. The kids that play out there in that field are Brocktonians, and they love to play for Brockton. They love to put on the Brockton uniform, and this is something that I get the feeling of. This is the feeling that I get. One thing that I mentioned to the players at the end, the best thing that I heard, on Friday before the game against Xaverian, one of the players, Kenny Legault, said, this is the last day that we're going to be practicing on this field together. And I said, well, I hope you had a good time. And he said to me, it was the best time he's had in his life. And that meant a lot to me.
That has to be the greatest compliment any kid can possibly give you. because
Who is this on the phone?
it's a reflection of you, Coach Colombo. And by the way, that picture that was in the Enterprise, I think Time Magazine picked that picture of the year.
Is this Peter Marciano? That sounds like Peter.
I don't know. It sounds like him, but why, I don't know. He's probably just an anonymous caller.
Yeah.
Let's call him
Madam X.
Thank you, Peter.
Take care.
All right, let's talk college prospects. We talked all scholastics. Who are the colleges coming after?
Well, first of all, when you talk about colleges coming in, we have all different types of colleges coming in. There's Division I all the way down to Division III. And my goal and my aim is to get every one of my seniors who want to go on to further their education into a college, a chance to further their education. And as far as I'm concerned, what I want to do is get every one of them in, and we do that.
Yeah.
We do that. Right now, for instance, Brent Warren, 6'5", 6'6", 300 pounds. Who's after him? Every Division I college in the country, you might say. Lucian Bellinger is a great, great linebacker, absolutely will go to a fine school and receive a full scholarship. And there's other players on our team that are definitely going to go to college. And as a result of playing football for Brockton High School. See, what we can do for our players is open the door. We can get them in. And there are football coaches who say as long as the guy has this type of credential academically, we can get him in. And that's what we want to do. And that's exactly what we do. So this, I would safely say that each senior on our team will have the opportunity to go to college.
That's great. All right, we have another phone call. Hello, caller.
Hi, Mr. Colombo.
Yes.
Mark Parada here.
Hi, how are you, Mark?
Hi, Mark.
Fine, thank you. I want to congratulate you, and my family and I are all very proud of the Brockton Boxers, and I think that you did Brockton very proud. And more importantly than that, I think that you taught people of Brockton, I know my kids, the idea of never giving up. And that was a big lesson and something that they'll never forget, and I want to thank you for it.
Thank you. I hope that we...
And that was Peter.
The lesson that we give is that we're Brocktonians, and we work together. And when we work together, we get things done. And I think the city of Brockton can learn from the Brockton High School football team. Nothing is impossible. It's never too late. You're never too far down. You're never too beat to win and to succeed. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm proud to be the coach of Brockton High, but even more so, I'm proud to be a Brocktonian.
Me too. Thank you very much, Coach.
Okay.
Good questions. We're getting some good calls. Let me ask you something. Where will this whole season stay in your memories of your coaching career?
Let me put it this way. Each and every year is a special year. This is a special, special year. And I think there's special guys in this team. I love working with them. And the reason I love working with them is because they were, you might say, you've heard the old expression, the no-name group.
Yeah, they were.
And basically, that's what they were. They were a bunch of guys, and everyone says, you did a great job of coaching. And I have great coaches that work with me, if I might mention their names: Billy Devon, Dave Foraker, Tony Gonzalez, Mike Hancock, Ed Fitzgibbons, Peter Caruso, and two volunteer coaches, Gene Marrow and Peter Colombo. They do a great job of coaching every year. This year is no different. But the point of the matter is, we had great people to work with.
All right, we have another call. Hello, caller.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Steve, I just want to say you did an outstanding job this year on your program.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to be able to watch it every Tuesday night.
Thank you.
To you, Armin, I just want to say a great, great Brockton victory.
Thank you.
And it's a tribute to your coaching staff, tribute to yourself, sticking with this team after the opening day. And you just, you deserve all the credit in the world. And I hope you get it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And I might add this, too, that it's a pleasure. The job that I have to do in this show is definitely so easy because actually Steve does all the work, and I truly appreciate it.
Yeah, but you have to come up with the answers.
It's a pleasure working with you, Steve.
You were blessed with a silver tongue, and I mean, I could ask you an off-the-wall question, and you could answer it for 2 minutes, so it's easy. I have 10 pages of notes. I use 2 pages because he gives such great answers. Let me ask you another question. Lights at Marciano Stadium, this talk of putting the lights up, will you be in favor or against it?
I'm in favor of anything that's good for the city. There are people who believe that lights at the stadium will bring in different other types of things at the stadium, and the use of the stadium will bring about revenue and interest in the city. I'm for it. If they want us to play a game on a given night, we'll play it. I just don't believe that football is meant to be played in the fall in November.
You don't
think it's unfair
want
to the
your
players.
whole season on Friday night.
No, I
That's
wouldn't.
what you're
I wouldn't like that. I still think that people love to come to the game on Saturday afternoon and watch Brockton High play. But like I say, on a given Friday night, early in the season, when it's still warm, fine. But I know that our coaches, for instance, Go Scout Leominster, they play nights all the way through, and believe me, most of the time they're slipping and sliding, and New England isn't conducive to night football.
Maybe we should build a
late,
dome.
late in the fall. Oh, we can build a dome.
All right, we have another caller. Hello, caller.
Hi, how you doing, Steve?
Okay, how are you tonight?
Good. Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you very much.
I'm not going to talk about the game, Steve, because I guess there's no words you can say about it. I'm just calling as a parent, Steve.
Okay.
I'd just like to say what it means. I had the honor of having a son that played for this man for 4 years, including last year. And he was a 2-year starter, and I just want to reflect beyond football what it means to him to carry on the rest of his life. And playing for this man was an honor, and believe me, what it means as a parent, I just know what to say to him. Thanks a lot, Coach, from a parent.
Thank you. That means a lot to me.
Yeah. I mean, everybody thinks you just coach football, you disregard them afterwards. I mean,
I love them all. I really do. They are all very special guys to me. I learned way, way, way back, when someone puts on that uniform and those pads, they're a special type of people. And when they stay with you right to the bitter end, you know, there's a feeling.
And you know they're with you because the people on the sidelines, there must have been 1,000 people on the sidelines, and 950 were former players. We have another call, our last call of the year. Hello.
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 How does the team look next year?
Team is going to be as good, believe me when I tell you. We've got great people. As long as we got Brockton football players putting on that uniform,
Super Bowl?
we'll always be representative.
You'll always be in the Super Bowl. Always.
That's
What would a Super Bowl be if Brockton's not in it? Tewksbury and Peabody? Come on. None of that. None of that. All right, it's now my closing thank yous. First of all, Dick Donahue, General Manager of Continental Cablevision, thank you very much. Ken Chadwick at AC Grady Sporting Goods, Jim Jamoulis at the Cape Cod Cafe. Without their generous donations, we wouldn't have awards, Player of the Week, and free pizzas down at the Cod. To my crew, Matt Malone, Director, Bob Burns, Mike Gleason, Mike Melanson, and Brian List down at the control room. Thanks, guys. To my wife, it can't be long now, babe. Any day now. Armin, to you and the rest of your champion boxers, you've been gracious in victory and in defeat. More often victory, so we're all happier. Again, thank you very much. It was a privilege, and congratulations.
Thanks, Steve, very much.
And mostly to you at home. As you can see, we depend on you guys to watch and to call in. Thank you all. That's it for the 1992 season. It's been real fun. Armin and I will see you next year on the sidelines.